Oh man, we are back at the Gifted. Things are crazy. We got the Hellfire Club's new R&B group, Esme. We also have a whole bunch of dark side turning for your boy Jace. You better get ready, and of course, keep it locked.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What? That's right. Welcome to the Gifted After Show 3x1. We are back. We are back. We are back. Yes, we are here. I've been away for a while. You guys, some of you guys have been away for a while. We've all been away. We are back to talk about the mutants in the Gifted. How do you guys feel about this episode? Rick, how are you feeling about the state of, our mutant underground, the state of the government, the state of, oh yeah, of course.
Wait, who are you, man?
My name is Michael Nerd, so you can find me online at OneYonsta, which is O-N-E, Y-O-G-U-N-G-S-T-A, and I'm joined by a wonderful host, Rick Hong. What's up?
You guys can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, R-I-C-K-H-O-N-G. And we got Steph Sabraw.
What's up, everyone? I'm Steph Sabraw. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw. And actually, I would have done the same thing because I really, there's a lot.
I'm just ready to go.
I'm ready to answer.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
We've been gone for a while. It's a new year. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year to all the viewers. What's up, guys? It's nice to see your shiny faces.
No, and we know that after 10 episodes, we're getting down to the wire. We've got this, and then we've got the 2-hour finale in 2 weeks. Yes. So, I mean, that's why we're all fired up.
Definitely.
Oh, and we got a surprise for the finale too, right? Do we have a surprise?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but are we gonna say it?
I'll say it. I'll say it like later in the show.
All right, cool.
So the way I look at this episode is, we got an answer. We got an answer that my favorite character actually is dead, or at least they had a whole funeral for and everything.
Yeah.
So
that was great.
And
so my opinion now, I feel like in this world, I'm getting really over the humans. I feel like I am totally Team Mutant. Maybe one day Hellfire.
Really?
No, but I understand. People,
okay.
Especially with
they
the
have a pretty badass power.
Yeah, it's tough.
The Blink situation, I was like, no, what? I just feel like that's so wrong. And we saw it a little bit with the Strucker situation where people would kind of like just turn the other way. But there's the purists they got to go. People like that, anything like that, I'm over you. We got to get rid of them.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about since we're talking about the humans and everything, the two funerals were very telling because you get a very similar kind of discussion with both sides. Like, look at what they did to us. You get these parallels, like, look at what they did to us. We're going to get them back. And if you have that from both sides, you do lay out this kind of like groundwork for two sides that think they're right. And that's some great storytelling because they're coming from a place of genuine from their perspective. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder if there'll be any side switching, even though we've lost some people on both sides now.
Mm-hmm.
You mean from the mutants to the human side, or you mean more like the human? Like really,
both.
Just like both.
Maybe some people are like, you know what, this now we're getting into this Hellfire thing. Maybe it's a little too much. Or from the humans being like, this doctor he's kind of weird.
How about 3 factions? Would that work?
Yes.
Let's have like maybe 3 factions.
Yeah.
Like you got the middle ground, the extremists on the mutant side,
cool,
and then the purists on the human side.
But I would say the underground is, they are the middle ground. Like they've always been fighting the right way. That is their goals. I mean, we had that with the X-Men. Little slips in there about how they were chosen to do this a certain way. So I would say Hellfire is kind of, and the Cuckoo sisters are what we've been looking for since the beginning. We've been saying we think there's going to be like an extremist villain who has, they're extreme for a reason. But I think that's what's so great about these characters. It's like you hate them, but you love them, and they're cool and awesome.
Yeah. Okay, speaking about that, where are we on the sisters? Like, where are we? Like, because the way I feel about Esme, is she can't be trusted. Even from the Hellfire perspective, I don't know if I trust that girl. Because, or those girls, sorry. Because one, she's one of those girls that walk around like can't nobody tell her nothing. That's one problem with her. And two, she's always manipulating somebody. I don't know if she's ever told anyone the truth. And that's, I don't know if anyone can really trust her. Do you?
Trust them.
Trust them.
Trust
Sorry.
her. Trust them.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta say, it's like I really like how. I don't know if it's the way that they shot it, the post-production, how they presenting the three sisters.
Yeah, the way they move, the different
echo, the sound, like when you're watching it, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
There's like and like her delivery with like in terms of like the show, but she's a good addition.
Yeah.
She's that character is a really good addition. I kind of agree with you. It was getting a little old of just like humans versus mutants. Now you have these sisters that are, and then we get introduced to the
Can we just
the opening doorway to the inner circle?
That was totally a Charlie's Angels type scene. I feel like
Yeah,
like almost exactly like Charlie's Angels, but on
because they came in, they got the mission,
three
and
of
then
they got
so
some
he's like the Bernie Mac Bosley.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Not Charlie, but Bosley. But yeah.
But they come in, they do follow their mission objective, but they do take their, I guess, liberties, if you will.
They made an entire mission.
Yeah, and they were supposed to go get the Strucker kids, but they sort of sacrificed almost a whole mutant hideout, which is supposed to be what they're fighting for, just to get these Strucker kids. Now, I know maybe there's a longer goal, and they're like, hey, the ends justify the means. But with stuff like that, I'm not sure if I can completely trust them. And if you're a mutant, never add a telepath on your team, because it's not a good idea.
But in this case, they do have one similar... They all want to take down the Hound program.
True.
So they do have some sort of connection where they do need each other, and in that sense, you can trust them a little bit. And as we've seen, they kind of go for the people who are vulnerable. They can't just change your thoughts, you know? You have to kind of let them in.
Yeah, they've definitely created some boundaries for them, which is nice.
Yeah.
And Ivan Soto in the chat says that Emma Frost's name was mentioned. Yeah, and I got that. And he said but the Underground didn't react. And I'm guessing maybe it's a situation where they already know of her, and maybe it just wasn't a big deal to them, or maybe she's kind of like an old news thing where it's like, yeah, but she's not around. Maybe that's it. I don't. But they didn't really. When her name was said, they didn't really, like, I guess, react or respond when they heard it. So are you getting anything from that, or is it just more of the X-Men are gone and we're not expecting to ever see them again and we're on our own thing?
Well, here's the cool thing. So we know that in 2 weeks is the finale.
Yeah.
We know that in 2 weeks is the finale. We probably won't get that answer. However, for you guys back at home, I'm sure you already know that this has been picked up for season 2.
Yes.
So it opens up to a lot more storylines. So maybe we'll get that answer. I kind of agree. Like they're making these references to kind of let us know that it's this world. It was that world, but they're kind of creating their own world. So it's just making like small references to the past, but not maybe necessarily people that are going to be relevant. Relevant for this series going forward. Well, I would highly doubt, unless the Gifted goes on and then the Disney merger Fox thing like completely happens. Like say maybe like season 3 or season 4, maybe we could see like an Emma Frost, but I wouldn't even say like seeing her like in the next season. And
it kind of works with them making their small references, you know, because they're not completely tying themselves down to, say, you know, Cyclops or, you know, Jean Grey or whatever, or, you know, the Professor. They're kind of free to talk about the world without kind of shackling themselves with any previous movie or previous, you know, conception or whatever. So that's, you know, that's pretty cool. Now, as far as, you know, we got the Hellfire Club. What do you think about this inner circle? Do you think we'll ever see them? Do you think that they'll ever be revealed, or is that just something that as a storyline will always just be kind of teased to?
Man, that one's tricky because they just announced a season 2, and I know that this episode, like the episodes, had to have been written already.
Way before,
So
probably not.
Yeah.
I think so. I feel
For
like
next, in the finale.
Oh, no, I don't think they'll be introduced in any physical characters maybe yet, but I think we'll have more little anecdotes given to us, and I think that it will be something that's taken into the second season because I feel like a lot of people like that addition to the show. It's pretty cool reference, and there's a lot that they can do with it. Okay,
so I want to get into, our relationship on the show. Flashlight.
You got a little scratch. You got a little scratch in this episode.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Marcos and Polaris. I like how, and this kind of dips into the Struckers a little bit, where it was like, hey, this mutant wants you here. Like, I want you here. So it's, and, he's not representative of only himself. So all of the mutants aren't against the family. But then you do have Polaris, who's like, hey, look, Esme's got a point, and the Esme sisters or whatever, they've got a point, and her power. Do you see a little trouble in paradise there?
If you're talking like dark side,
Polaris.
Yeah, if you're talking dark side, more than I know we've been kind of talking about Andy.
Yeah,
because he's young and he's impressionable. But if we're talking about dark side, and it's probably because she's been put through the pain. Like I would say. I mean, just even
seeing her power.
Yeah,
now.
like someone like in our chat. I mean, Mazerboard92 said it. Like Marcos and Polaris are like Professor X and Magneto, and we saw from Polaris, we saw like that the safe clothes.
Yeah,
she's building her
she's
power
getting
with,
powerful.
And like and the baby's
that was awesome.
Yeah, the baby is like giving her extra power. So,
but I think that was kind of. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like there's a similarity going on in the whole show with combining powers, and I think that has a little to do with it. Is that now the baby and her are almost can combine powers?
Kind of like because they were talking about with the gloves, and we'll get to the gloves a little later. But with the gloves, they're putting their blood streams together.
Yeah.
So when you have a child,
so
when you have the child, your blood is shared.
Yeah. And
so you're kind of getting another mutant's power, and they're already in sync with you because they're part of your biology.
Yeah.
So that
for the time being,
yeah, for the time being. So this could throw not only more power her way, but throw more in her character change because she could be like, well, since I have more power, then I should do this. Because I will only have this power for 9 months, so maybe I should, just for a little while go a little darker, just to get, kind of injustify the means thing, just to get this done, and I'll still be okay. Marcos will still be here, since I have this power, I want to strike back as hard as possible.
And she's still like exploring it too. It's like she was saying in that episode. She's like I didn't have this a while ago, but now I have it. So it's kind of like I don't know how much longer I'm gonna have this thing. So
now the Hellfire Club knows too. So we'll see where that goes. Especially since it's tough, man. Having that third option out there, being weird, and you don't know what's gonna happen. Especially you don't know what Marcos's his connection with the cartels. You don't know how that's going to play out.
They kind of dropped that storyline, didn't they?
I think they want us to forget about it, so when they bring it back, we'll be like, "Oh no, the cartel." I think they're trying to be sneaky about that one.
I think it was also a good setup for just understanding Marco's character and where he's coming from. That he doesn't like to be manipulated. He knows what people, when you start going that way in the name of justice or whatever to get your job done, it doesn't usually end
he's
well.
a guy that's kind of like trying to stay on the righteous path in some form, or he's got his there's a certain integrity to him and what he needs to get done.
And with Polaris and Andy, I think those two have similar traits, and it's between the two of them in the sense that they don't understand how people don't understand them, and they are alienated, and they have this like more of an anger, and they know that they're both so powerful, so they're done kind of being repressed.
And they're like I'm tired of this.
The little things with Polaris when she was like playing with her magic, it was part black now. So it's like I think that they can become darker, but I don't know if both of them would, or it's all about personal choices. I think this show works a lot about character development and personal choices. So at the end of the day, their families and friends affect them.
Yeah, it's a good point. Now, before we move on, we do have a little message for you guys, and it's from one of our sponsors. And in this case, on January 16th, when the CW's newest superhero suits up, lightning's gonna strike. Don't miss the electrifying new series, Black Lightning. Black Lightning, aka Jefferson Pierce, had previously powered down his crime-fighting career and for the last 9 years had been saving lives the best way he knew how, as principal of the local high school. But in this city, when the hero's away, the gangs will play. And this dude's a family man, so when his people get caught up in the crosshairs, it's time to take charge. Now, the former hero is back in full force for a second round against corruption and violence, because lightning does strike twice. It's dark days for the city of Freeland, but the storm is coming when Black Lightning brings his power to the people. Not only will the series Black Lightning spark you up, but also the soundtrack is full of slamming hip-hop cuts like songs from Rome Fortune and old school hits like blues singer Nina Simone, Bobby Bland, and the great Isaac Hayes. On January 16th, the world will know Black Lightning. Series premiere after The Flash, only on the CW. So, real quick, Black Lightning is coming. It's in our genre. Are you hyped for it? Because I've been following it for a while. I'm psyched. I really want to see how this plays out, especially with his daughters with the powers. I think it'll be cool.
I'm happy to see this character because it's, it adds diversity to, I mean, the
CW lineup. Well,
yeah, and the network's done a pretty good job of trying to be diverse, but to actually have a diverse character be in the lead role. And Black Lightning is an interesting character because there was like a weird controversy because when they created like the Super Friends way back in the day, there was some sort of rights issue, so they couldn't bring Black Lightning in. So they created a guy named Black Vulcan.
Black Vulcan, yep.
And then later on, they brought in Cyborg.
Yep.
And what makes me laugh about the whole thing is, if you guys ever go online, I don't know, you're probably a little too young to know Sinbad. I know you know Sinbad.
Yeah.
They had a great SNL spoof for when Superman died. It's a skit. You guys can go find it online where Sinbad shows up as Black Lightning, but nobody knows who he is. He's like, no, man, I'm Black Lightning. So this is great that the CW is actually doing this show and like they're able to like implement this character.
That's funny.
I also like the fact that, with the CW lineup, most of the people are like, young men or whatever. This is a dad that has like different, responsibilities, and he's a dad of older children. So, he's a dad of older children, wife, kids, all that stuff. So it's a different perspective of the way he has to handle his personal life. Because, in Arrow, and of course we won't stay too long, but like in Arrow, he doesn't really have to worry about like, hey, well, my kids are trying to get into college too.
Right.
Like, matter of fact, his son, like, dude, his son is just doing his own thing, really. Like, Oliver's just like, whatever. But anyway, it's cool, guys. Check out Black Lightning on the CW. And if you love reading comics, you can check out Black Lightning Cold Dead Hands, which is out. It's a 6-part issue miniseries that is out, of course, promoting the show. And you can check that out, too.
Even better.
But back to the Gifted. Jace. What? I think he's bought into the dark side.
I'm so over him.
I think he's bought.
I'm so over him.
I really thought
that's perfect. Like, that face and that statement is perfect because we thought we had him back for a second. We're like, yeah, but due to Esme messed it up.
I get
Esme
that,
messed it up.
but you recognize it's wrong. It doesn't matter that something else happened.
True.
That doesn't mean that you change what your ethics based off someone hurting your feelings. I know it's really bad, but like, but you don't do that. There's still he recognized that they're humans and it's inhumane.
Yeah. So now he's kind of like back with the plan of enslaving them basically and forcing them to be cops. Well, not what I mean. Kind of like enforcement. Yeah. Or weapons, I guess you could say.
I really thought that we were going to see a turn. I didn't want to say it early on in our episodes. I really thought we were going to see a turn from Jace in his character, because it reminded me of when they first aired, which is going to be a remake again, the show Roswell. I don't know if you know that show.
No.
It was like on the WB, I think, or was it UPN? No, it was
taking
like I think it was on
back.
the WB, like way back. It was like on the Buffy era.
Oh.
But the same
Oh, I
thing,
think
like these kids were aliens, and then there was this cop looking for them, and then later on, that character turns up and ends up like being a good guy instead of being their advocate. And I was thinking, like, maybe they'll do this way, but yeah, he just keeps going deeper and deeper down the hate hole.
Now his wife might be the smart. Yeah, I mean
that's what
his
it is,
wife might
right?
be the small part that brings him back because they made this big deal about you came in, and of course this is the last episode, guys. I'm sorry, just because I wasn't here, but you come in our house with guns and blah blah blah, and she was like, well, remember when you came in my house with a gun?
Yeah.
And his wife was like, what? You did what? Because of course, to his wife, he's just out there serving and protecting. He's a cop. He's a good guy doing agent stuff. And then to hear that he's actually breaking in people's houses with guns too and threatening people's families, that changes her perspective on her own husband, which I think really hit home for him. So I think we're going to see a struggle with him. I know he's back on the evil train, but I think we'll see a struggle with him with, how far do we go to make the ends justify the means? Because, like you said, he's still going back with the guy who's kind of like forcing people to use their powers on this drug that we know is killing them.
He saw him, the Dr. Campbell, ding the medicine right in front of them.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no going back. If you don't think that is bad, you are
So are we putting him in the box with like Kylo Ren and you can't...
Yes, that's a good comparison because
man.
Kylo Ren's conflicted, but he's
We
bad.
talked about The Last Jedi. Jeez. Right.
Oh, man. But yes, he's...
And Campbell's
might be in too deep.
Snoke, basically, right?
Temper tantrums, very similar.
He's very emotional. Yeah, he's definitely very emotional, and I don't know if he's going to be able to deal with Campbell as far as he wants to go, because Campbell is super evil. Like, he shot Dreamer like it was nothing. Like, he shot her like it was just Tuesday. So it was nothing special for him. And he was about to shoot Blink in a second. Well, sorry, not Blink, but she's Blink, but that's not what they call it. But I don't think Jace is ready for that.
But the more he works with Campbell, the more control Campbell gets. He's already higher up now, talking to different people in the government. And so the more control Campbell has, he doesn't need Jace anymore. It doesn't really matter. If he lets Campbell get to that position, we're screwed.
All right, cool. Now, question from the chat. Mazerboard92 says, sad thing is, even if they stop Campbell, they will still be hated by the humans. I kind of agree with that, and I feel bad, because I feel like the mutants, at least the Mutant Underground, the Hellfire Club is different. They're super rich, and they're kind of...
That's why they're a club, right?
They're a super rich club of mutants that look human, so they never really have... They're not like the Morlocks, where there's something wrong with this person. So... So, are they in a losing situation no matter what? Because even if, say they stop the Hound program, I mean, it's not like humans are going to be like, yeah, mutants are great. Woohoo! Everything's over.
But you can't ever stop you can't ever stop.
Can't give up hope.
Because it's a society thing too.
True.
Like, you and me being, I guess you're a person of color and something, like diversity too. It's just, if we just gave up, we probably wouldn't be doing a panel right now.
Well, it wouldn't be a panel. It'd be like, no women allowed. Okay, well, I give up. No black people allowed. Well, I guess I'll give up.
It would just be Stephen Lemieux, who's not even here today. So
he'd be like, we're closed, guys. Peace.
I think with this show, it's going to start with the government. If the government and the officials start kind of seeing more and sympathizing them and being more empathetic and seeing them as humans, because you see it in the way they have the political races and stuff. They're using and Blink mentions this, everyone's feeding off fear and anger. And that is what's pushing that dialogue to hate the mutants. So if you stop that, not everyone has a bad experience with mutants. There's no way.
Yeah, if we align this a little bit with our world, if a couple of senators or governors had a daughter or a son that was a mutant, we ain't gonna go there. We're not gonna go too far. We're just gonna,
it would be okay.
Maybe they would change their stance on mutants.
Maybe, absolutely.
or or the thing too is just with the right regulation, say in a perfect world. Mutants being able to use their abilities to, I guess someone's like telepathic, to be able, instead of like having like 10 different guys having to do grunt work and you know, and hurting their backs or whatever, the mutant, you know, can just lift things or whatever like type of powers they have that we know. You know.
Yeah, because there is a I guess a positive usage for mutant powers, and there's a lot of mutant powers that, like, I mean, of course, we all know, like the Wolverines, the Bishop, the X-Men, you know, anyone, Mr. Sinister, all of those guys. We know, like, the people that are using them for force. There's probably a lot of people that have powers that are just like, well, my power doesn't really do anything.
I mean, can you imagine if you could tap into Deadpool's power and, like, people that are amputees and stuff to be able to grow, you know, grow their, grow like limbs back, or like being like figure out what those genes
or like use a telepath to be able to speak to someone who's in a coma, or you know, or someone
foreign affairs.
Yeah, you know, like someone who could translate, and you know, there's tons of positive uses where in society it could be great and everybody could be happy. But of course, you know, where you have fear leads to hate, hate leads to suffering,
that's true.
and suffering to the dark side.
Yeah, that's like how
I had to throw two in there, but I do, man. I'm worried that we are going to be in a situation where we might see people change sides, but maybe the mutants are just doomed to always be, unfortunately, on the losing end of society's kind of, like, you know, fear, hatred kind of stuff. Because even after Campbell, will it stop? You know, unless they're able to stop it in a way where they're able to kind of like air out his personal, you know, like, hey, he was doing this, this, and this, and you know, it wasn't our fault. Like, this guy is dirty. Like, could that change, you know, public perception? Or maybe they're just doomed.
I think it's the past like 3 episodes, and I'm a person who likes happy endings, so I really am getting exhausted from all the losing on the mutant side. They've been on the defense a lot.
Yeah.
They've been kind of like puppets, and it seems right now like they're not in control of anything that happens in the day-to-day basis. Because even now it's like if Sentinel Service doesn't find them, Esme sets them up, you know? So I think and I hope that there is going to be something that happens. What that is, I don't know, but I think that there are ways to talk always and figure things out. But it's going to have to be through some powerful means.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see where, because like right now they're building. They're building where they're this, and like that's kind of like the way this first season is kind of gone. Is they're being chased. They're being chased, but like I'm wondering when we can get to a point of where they can just relax for a second, not necessarily be in a safe house, but just relax and maybe like bump into mutants. I don't know. I mean, they're not going to show Professor X.
Yeah,
but just a place where they can be safe.
Maybe
for
another
a while.
maybe another mutant from the comics that's known enough, but not high profile, that would take over the show. That can kind of be like a general for those guys. But since we've covered all that, we have, of course, Campbell and Jace's mission that. In this case, they got tipped off by Esme, but the whole showdown at the new, hideout that the family goes to because they're leaving, and we get a nice moment where you get Teen Dream. I can't think of his name, but the one that does the illusions.
Yes.
Because he's like square jaw, great hair, pearly whites. Like, come on, man, the guy's like he's like student yearbook ready. But like, the meeting between them was a lot nicer. We saw some character growth. You know, you see Lauren's father, see him, and he's not mad about it. He's like, you know, it's nice to see you. And there's smiles, and he even says that he's happy to see her smile again. And even Andy is kind of like, you know what, I'm cool with this. I'm not mad, because in the car Andy gave him a little flack. But how do you feel about the character growth for those guys? Because when they left, they weren't on the best of terms.
Wes and Lauren.
Wes and Lauren and Wes and the dad.
I think it's good. I mean, like you said, the dad liked it and approved and liked to see Lauren happy. And I think that he's also really valuable in general as a mutant, a good friend to have. But
and he stepped up and he said, like, you need to be honest about who you are, your past, and he did that. He did that. So, I mean, so like it's that's what makes sense. It's like I told him to do something. He responded. He did the right thing. So he's got no reason not to.
Yeah. And I'm glad as writers they didn't drag that out. They let them have kind of like, you know what, we're cool. You know, and that was nice. You know, it's good to have a situation where they don't have to have another internal conflict because there's enough, of course, in the next part of the scene coming at them where they finally use that, the gauntlet connection.
The umbilical cord?
Yeah, the umbilical cord. the forearm umbilical cord to, you know, of course, combine their powers, which one, science-wise, Campbell is moving super fast. Like, we've got to stop this guy because he went from just like taking the readings from Andy and Lauren to now he has like a working prototype, like super working. They were tearing that building apart.
I think they started to build it a little bit more with the sisters.
Okay.
And then Andy and Lawrence confirmed it. But yeah, still moving very, like they had no idea.
They got to take him out.
They're the last part of the formula that they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got to take him out really quickly. But how do you feel about just that technology being available to them now? Like, because do you think they have any other option but to fight back? Do you think that there's a diplomatic option now? Because now that they have the arm thingy and they can use it with any of their other mutants, is there any other option but fighting back now?
No, that's why the only thing that kind of bugged me is the Underground not completely buying in that they have no option but to go full force into it.
Yeah, John is still kind of, well, he does have a lot of people to protect.
Yeah, I know they don't want to lose anyone, but it's the same with the Struckers. I feel like everyone has to buy in because no one's on their side who's not in the Underground or specifically said that to them. So there's no more wasting time, especially with the new umbilical cord. they have to make moves.
It reminds me of the Grant. There's two guys, but it reminds me of the cheesy Batman and Robin movie with Bane.
Oh,
and Bane had the green chemical or whatever. That's what it reminds.
That movie is good bad. It's so bad it turns back around to good.
Hi, Freeze, Batman.
But I like seeing Andy down because Andy is one of those mutants that probably could have it's a network show, but he probably could have killed all of those guys out there by doing the separation thing. And I know this is TV, but I would like to see him separate someone. Even though I know that's rated R level, but I'm an action guy.
Man, this is Logan.
I'm an old school action guy. I would love to see him like bam. But you know, I mean, because you had was it First Class where Magneto put the quarter through Sebastian Shaw's head?
I think
Remember that?
Yeah,
and, So I mean, you have things like that could be cool, but I would like to see him destroy a little bit. But I know that costs money, and I know that probably would have made the situation worse. But now, like you said, they're on the run again. Where do you think we start out on the next episode? I mean, I know we've seen the clips.
Yeah, they get in the car. And,
yeah, but where do you think that we start from, like from a defensive or offensive standpoint? Where do you think we are? Do you think we're still debating about what we should do, or do you think we're in go mode now? Because of course there's two left. There's three left.
Yeah,
two.
and it's leading to one. If it'd be lame to lead to like one big finale and just have it fizzle out. So there's definitely something coming where it's gonna be we're probably gonna lose cast members. Yeah. More than just my favorite Dreamer, but that's okay. They brought the ladies, the other ladies.
That was surprising though. When we lost Dreamer, I was like, whoa.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. I was like, I wasn't sure until they opened up this one if she really died, and who knows? I mean, because Campbell's a crazy man. Who knows if she's really dead?
Wow.
Still,
if you could like take her and revive her or something.
Or
like
if that like she was shot with something, I don't know. Because I feel like one of you guys were saying Campbell doesn't really waste resources like that.
Yeah, so he could have shot her with something which he can revive her later or something like that. That would be that's tough.
I mean, maybe the sisters don't make it past the finale.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I was thinking that we would just be left with Esme. And the two sisters would die.
And then she's like, and then she's like in disarray for the next season because she's not whole.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
So she'll have to like kind of decide between the Underground and Hellfire.
All right, now Chaos 13212 says, has the Underground killed anyone yet? I don't think so. At least not on
Purposefully?
purpose.
No.
I don't think on purpose. I think they did kill someone on accident, but I don't think anyone on purpose. You had Esme, she did her thing, but I don't think
But she's not really part of the.
Yeah, she's not a part of them. Also, to the chat and to us, do we find out that Esme lied and set up the other underground base? And if we do find out that she lied and she set that up and set them up, what happens to her? Like, do we trust her still? Do we completely excommunicate her? Or is now Hellfire another villain?
You can never trust her. There's three of her. You can't trust her. There's three of her. You never know what the hive mind is thinking. You can't trust her. But I think in order for survival, you have to go along with it for a while until you find like a real
because they have more resources and we kind of need
That's
them.
what I was thinking. That we hopefully, best case scenario, we can use them for, I don't know, to blow up Trask or something like that, kill off all of their weapons and whatever, and then let them go. Because
like, don't talk to us anymore.
They can't be trusted. And they made me think, were they or Hellfire actually responsible for the 7-Eleven event? You know, because it's like not out of, if they're willing to do that.
Yeah, because now, because we were thinking a while back with Steven, we were talking about maybe Campbell set that up. What if the Hellfire Club set that up?
Right, that's what I'm saying. We've got like a couple different new factions in this game.
Yeah, and could it be a situation where someone in the chat, please forgive me, I couldn't remember who said it, but what if Polaris goes to the Hellfire Club and Marco stays? Could it be a situation where we have Mutant Underground, Hellfire Club, government in general, and maybe Marco's going back to cartels because they need... Because cartels, I know cartels aren't great, and I know the ex-girlfriend isn't the greatest. You know what I'm saying? But they do have money. They have resources. They got guns. They got, hideouts. They have, connections.
And they have human connections.
Yeah, and they have human connections. You're going to need someone to get your back because they are, like you said, they've been on the run so long. What happens in a situation like that, it could be very telling, when it comes to what happens with Polaris and the Esme, Sophie, whatever the sisters' name are, Esme,
Triple E.
Triple E, and like how that plays out. Because, man, I feel the darkness coming over this whole crew. The whole crew, and I think we are going to lose some people. I think we're going to lose some people.
We're losing. Yeah, we definitely. Or I mean, he's too strong of a character. But I mean, if we lost, I mean that would probably send Polaris to the dark side completely.
Oh yeah. If we lost Marcos.
If we're on possible deaths, I think one of the Strucker parents is going to go. I don't want that to happen because I wish that they would just step up and be the people that I know they can be. But I think they're going to go.
But they're always the voice of reason. Though.
Mom dies, and that forces Dad to manifest his powers that he never knew he still had.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Now, quick, I did want to, because I completely forgot about this. Thank you, Tony Robinson. Will Andy start to develop feelings for Esme? I forgot about that conversation. Yes, the way she came to him was
Andrew Von Strucker.
Yeah, the very look. I was like, look, tone it down, all right. Look, stop batting the eye.
It's like an '80s movie, man.
It's like stop batting the eyelash.
It's an older woman preying on the loins of a young dude.
Well, it's because she knows. She's like, all right. She's telepath. She probably already knows he thinks I'm pretty.
She is. So now, she's hot. Well, obviously.
Yes, but I mean, as a guy, you got to be like, reel it in.
You would be surprised at
There's
the confidence
3 of them, dude.
Of some men.
There's not one of her. There's 3 of her. I mean, can you imagine if we had 3 Stephs? I mean, that'd be trouble.
Oh, man.
You should take over the panel. Take over the panel.
Bye.
We're not even.
No,
it's another show. It's a family show, guys. No, but
that's a good one too. I like that.
It's weird because he did turn her down, but he wasn't completely against her. And we know that the Hellfire Club wants them anyway. Now they have them. But what I mean by have him is his energy, his attitude, his mindset,
and his ability.
Yeah,
his abilities too.
Because if they're doing it in a situation where it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to fight with you, but I'm really not down with your cause, or I'm fighting with you because I believe in what you stand for. And he didn't totally cut her
I
off.
think he loved what she had to say. And with Polaris, I don't think what Esme or whichever Cuckoo it was that talked to them necessarily said things that were incorrect. They manipulate them knowing what they want to hear and say what the person wants to hear, but it's not wrong. I mean, Andy's not on the wrong side for feeling like this is his fight. It is his fight.
Yeah, it's definitely his fight. And it's good to see, you know, Lauren kind of leaning on the I'm ready to fight side. So I wonder how this plays out with the manipulation, because the manipulation is interesting. You know, the dreams, the thoughts, the reading minds, the saying what you want to hear, all that stuff. It's a very interesting place to be with just someone as unscrupulous as me.
And there's 3 of her, man. It's like 3 Mrs. Robinsons in The Graduate. I mean, Dustin Hoffman would not have a chance in that movie. So.
Oh man! All right, so guys, any predictions for, of course, tomorrow? Next week.
We can't get in the building. We'll get caught.
Oh.
We can't help them if we get captured too.
Oh my God.
That is Stephen Moyer, though. That is Stephen Moyer.
Play that one more time for Stephen Lemieux.
We can't get in the building. We'll get caught. We can't help them if we get captured too.
Wow.
It's like a completely
Did he just
different
have
guy.
a Red Bull or something?
He's like,
he is hyped.
2. Catch it 2.
They probably use like a cheaper mic or something.
Yeah, it's probably like, look, this
In the
is
ADR
recorded.
session.
We'll just record it from the iPhone or something. We'll just put it in there. It'll be fine. We'll record it from the laptop. No big deal.
Only we would care about that.
So, any predictions for tomorrow?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, this is hard because it's the 2-hour finale. I'm not really...
No,
not tomorrow.
The
Sorry, not
finale
tomorrow.
is not tomorrow.
Sorry, not
it's
tomorrow.
on the 15th, which...
Yeah.
I mean, Fox is probably going to have some sort of weird programming
Yeah.
tomorrow, but like, yeah, the finale airs on the 15th. We will be here on the 21st to give you our lowdown and some extra stuff, but
it's still, the next thing is a 2-hour
Yes.
finale.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not really good at guessing finales because I always forget to think that it's the next season type thing and I want some closure, but I never get closure. I think, though, that there's going to be some deaths on both sides, and hopefully I think the mutants will come away with 1 win, but it's not going to be anywhere close to the end.
no, not at all.
Okay. How about you?
I think that the underground meets the guy that Esme was talking to.
Okay.
I think that's where she takes him. I think there's going to be some deaths. And so for you guys that are watching, they're going to watch later, people in the chat, I just wanted to say right now that I've been working all season long on getting producer Derek Hoffman here, who is a longtime producer that's been with Richard Donner and Lauren Shuler Donner through most of the X-Men movies. He's also producer on Legion, if you like that show on FX. So he's gonna be here to talk about the finale, maybe talk about some extra things that surrounds the whole X-Men universe. I'm hoping he said he should be able to come, so definitely check us out on the 21st. I'll definitely tweet it out when it does get confirmed and everything, but it'll be an exciting finale if he's here.
Yeah.
To really not only talk about the Gifted, the future of the Gifted,
But just like the thought process into it.
and in terms of the whole X-Men world as well.
Yeah,
So
because he's
exciting.
definitely got tons of knowledge. So that'll be dope. For me, I think I'm holding on to that wife dies, dad finally finds his powers that they were never really stopped in the first place. It just kind of like suppressed them, but a large emotional outbreak could manifest them. And I think we're gonna see the brother and sister join hands. I think Campbell dies.
We see there. Oh, yeah.
I think Campbell dies.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think the hands
I
get
would
joined and Campbell dies.
Pop a bottle if Campbell dies.
Well, look, I'll bring her in a bottle to pop if Campbell dies.
I would look so forward to that.
Like, everyone, prepare yourselves.
Cheers to me.
But that, and I think we introduced like John and the whole underground, like you said, sort of welcoming them into the Hellfire Club, whether they want to or not. Maybe.
But then it leads us into next season.
Because then we answer some questions, we ask a few more, and then that's the end of the season. Hopefully, we'll see. And a whole bunch of cool fight scenes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely time to go hand to hand in some of this stuff, especially with the things that they're doing like on other on other shows that are comic related, there's a lot of great choreography going on. And I won't mention them, but, you know, there's some great choreography going on. So before we bounce, guys, tell the folks where they can find you, Steph.
I'm Steph Sabraw. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw. I'll see you guys next week.
And you guys can find me on all social media at Rick Hong, RICKHONG. And our fearless leader shall be back next week, Stephen Lemieux.
Yes.
Oh, well, next week after next.
In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. Our
15th,
fearless leader, he should be here.
21st, yeah.
And Michael?
And you can find me online at Nerd Soul. You can just search NERDSOUL. And online, which Twitter, it's just ONEYOUNGSTA. And that's where you can find me. Since we're bouncing, I guess the only thing we have to say is just keep it strong and mutants unite.
Happy New Year! Season 2! Season 2, yeah!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Season 2!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.